Hey YouTube, what's going on? In this video, I'd just like to cover some of the details, preferences, and specifics of red dot optics for your tactical carbine. There's a lot of strong opinions, there's a lot of internet misconceptions, and there's a lot of bias towards certain manufacturers or certain optics, and there's really not any good, on YouTube specifically, there's really not any good unbiased reviews or overviews or what have you on this sort of optical device. And I'll just go ahead and say this right now, but I'm not law enforcement, I'm not military, I'm just a regular guy out having fun and enjoying this this right that we have in this country. And we're not even going to get into that. I don't want to discuss politics or anything like that at this point in time. Let's just go ahead and dive right into this. What we see on the table is a variety of Aimpoint red dot sights, starting with the Aimpoint Micro. This is the T1 variety. In the middle we've got a Comp M4, and right here we've got an ML3. Yes, I know these are relatively expensive sights, and you know it's going to be up to the buyer if they can justify the cost. I'm just going to go ahead and list my reasons for investing in these particular sights and why I chose them relative to, for instance, an ACOG or Eotech or anything of that nature. So we'll go ahead and just start with this Aimpoint Micro here. In my opinion, this is probably my favorite of the current offerings from Aimpoint. They're super lightweight, obviously. I think Aimpoint says they're 3.7 ounces, add maybe another ounce or two for a mount. This is the LaRue variety. Extremely high quality. You can see how everything is milled out to keep them as light as possible, yet maintain as much structural rigidity as possible. A big thing people praise Aimpoint for is their battery life. This sight is rated for 50,000 hours on a CR 2032 battery that's located right underneath this brightness adjuster. I'll just say this right now. That's really great. I mean, you've got that many hours. You've got years and years of use out of a single battery. The M4 is rated for 80,000 hours. That's great and all, but do you really need that many hours? Is it worth, spending multiple hundreds of dollars more just for that capability? Where you look at Eotech, where most of them now are rated around 1,000 hours, obviously depending on size and battery and whatnot. But in my opinion, I think you get past a certain amount of hours, maybe even as low as 10,000 hours, nearly a year's worth of use out of a single battery. And I know for myself and most people out there, you're going to get to that point and just, spend $2 on a battery and replace it. Even though you still have, for example, again, referring back to the M4, which we'll get to in a second, 80,000 hours, you just went 1 year, you're at 10,000 hours, you're already replacing your battery. What, Tyler, what are you, stupid? Well, it's just a little extra peace of mind. I mean, yes, I know the sight's capable of running longer, but is the what was the battery condition like when I purchased it? And what's it like right now? You hear stories of people leaving dead batteries in, and you get corrosion and whatnot, things of that nature. It's just an extra peace of mind to, spend a couple bucks and replace the battery. So that's one gripe I have about people saying that they would never buy an Eotech because of the battery life. Yes, I understand, but really, do you need 8 years worth of battery life? In my opinion, no, that's not a very reasonable argument. That's not to say it's a good thing, but well, now you guys know what I feel about that. Anyway, getting back to this T1, I really think they're great sights. Aimpoint says, and this is completely spot on, they say that these keep a lightweight gun lightweight. And that is absolutely spot on. They are super compact, obviously, as you can see, super lightweight, and they're durable. There's a Daniel Defense video where they're thrashing an M4 with this on there, and it holds up to the abuse quite well. I think everybody would be satisfied with that kind of performance. Just this red dot sight, you guys, on every single red dot sight, you can see that the front has a iridium or some sort of a reflective coating on there. And that's because the beam is projected from the rear of the sight onto this and is captured by your eye at that point. So if the front lens is cracked or damaged or pops out, you will not have a red dot projection. In that particular video, they had the rear lens pop out and it still functioned. All these sights are nitrogen purged, which is cool. One super nice thing about Aimpoint in particular relative, we've got a Vortex here just as a little comparison. One nice thing though is, obviously you can see that this front lens on all Eotechs and all red dots, it's pretty difficult to see into, right? That would theoretically make it more difficult to see out of at your target. The glass quality on these Aimpoints is absolutely superb. They're anti-reflective coating, both sides, inside, outside, on both lenses. Extremely clear. You don't hear a lot of guys talking about glass quality on their non-magnified optics. I understand that it's not a huge concern, but particularly on this Vortex and other lower cost alternatives, it's dark. You've got a couple shades darker, looking through, just because of, the need to have some sort of a coating on the front that, impedes light transmission, and it does make a difference. Is it a huge difference? No. Is it a $400 difference? No, it's just an observation. If that's important to you, you have that capability with a premium dollar optic. I really don't want to get into the specifics because I think people will get bored with that, and I don't really care about them either. But one gripe I do have about the Micro series is the tube diameter. I did not look this up because, frankly, I don't care, but the diameter, I think, is 25 millimeters. So, that does limit the field of view you have looking through the optic. Yes, you should have both eyes open anyway, but it does make it a little more difficult to acquire the red dot. This is not a huge issue, and just to prove that, there are many apps available for your smartphone, Android, or iPhones, IPDA shot timers, what have you. They're free. You just download them and you're able to, do dry fires or live fire, and see how quickly you can acquire a target from any position, and you'll be able to compare yourself. If you're looking at an Eotech or other holographic, bigger reticle devices, or this small tube diameter Aimpoint compared to a full size 30 millimeter tube Aimpoint, you can compare your shot times. That's one thing with the firearms industry that really kind of surprised me, is there's relatively little hard scientific data, and there's so much internet commandos, quote unquote, saying that, I can't acquire the target quick enough with this, or I can't do this, I can't do that. That's fine, I understand that, but if you don't have hard facts, even if they're just your personal, scientific data, that's fine. But you bring numbers to the table, that you've actually tested this device or that device for, whatever, that brings a whole different spin to the conversation. But when you say that, I can't do this, I can't do that, Aimpoint suck, Eotech suck, you need to have 4 times magnification for CQB type stuff, it gets out there, and most people, unfortunately, believe this. They look at pulse counts on forums, how many videos you have on YouTube, how many subscribers that are all fake on your YouTube channel. There's not a whole lot of credibility, we'll say. And that's something that I strive to achieve. All the data I'm sharing with you now has been tested by me. Again, with shot timers, if I say that one site's slower to acquire than the next, that's all data. Yes, it's personal opinion, but it is backed up with numbers. So hopefully we'll have a high integrity review here, and that's what I'm striving for. Just to cover the M4 here, I actually just got this a couple weeks ago, and I'm really happy with it so far. It runs on a single AA battery, and again, this thing is rated for 80,000 hours. Yes, that's cool. Do you need it? No. One nice thing about, or I should say, one complaint with the Aimpoints is that they, in the past, well, even present, I guess, like with the Micro series or the M2s, M3s, they do not have a supplied mount. That's not a huge deal. I mean, there are pretty affordable mounts out there, but when you're looking for high quality, you're looking at a LaRue mount here. You're talking about an extra 100 and change added onto the site. That problem's been overcome with the M4. They in the Aimpoint PRO, the Patrol Rifle Optic, which is an extremely high value, affordable red dot. But we're not going to talk about that because I don't have one. But with the M4, you get a supplied mount. It seems to be of pretty high quality. It's got this, which I thought was really cool, this self torquing semi quick release nut here. It is bulky and it is big and it sticks out the side of the gun, which I don't like. But you can see how, hopefully you'll be able to see this, but when you tighten it, they just use friction as their gauge for torquing, but you'll see it click. Those teeth just ride over one another when you're at the desired torque, and then take it out, you just obviously screw the other way. That's pretty cool. It's pretty good engineering in a supplied mount, but I could foresee replacing it again with a LaRue mount because I think that would save some weight and be easier to function or to release than this. But I don't have any plans to replace this just yet unless I have a surplus of money, which realistically never happens. New for the M4, like I said, is the equip mount. The adjustment dials are somewhat enclosed. You can see they're pretty well protected just with a cast or machined little rib that protrudes out over them, which is cool. One thing though with the M2s, M3s, and now Comp M4s is there have been reports of this adjustment turret, I guess you can say, breaking off if the rifle falls or bangs something. This seems to be the weak point, and it really has not been changed for the M4s. They do offer an M4S, which this whole battery housing and the adjustment dial are located on the bottom here. It just wasn't an option when I purchased this one financially. I got this on a clearance. I'm not going to say where for a screaming deal. So I would have preferred the S, but it just wasn't an option. And I think that would help reduce the exposure for this turret. But I'm not, obviously, again, military law enforcement, so I don't intend to thrash on this as much as maybe some of those guys are. So it's not going to be a huge issue, but just something to be aware of. The M3s, I know for sure, came with these covers, which do have an O-ring. They seal up phenomenally. They're easy to use, spring-loaded, pretty high quality stuff. The M4s do not come with it. You can buy them for the covers, that is, for $30. Not a huge deal, but I think that's where they're saving some money. But on the other hand, you get a supplied mount. I should say too, if you guys are pretty high speed, that all of the M4s are night vision compatible, whereas on the Micro series and the M series, M2, M3s, you have an option to upgrade to night vision, but I opted not to. On this particular one, I bought this one used, and it is night vision compatible. Not like I'm going to go out and spend that kind of money for night vision because I don't have a need for it, and I'm not that high speed. So, that's cool for the M4s, but does it really, can you justify the cost? Probably not. Anyway, so for the M3, this is an ML3. The ML2s, ML3s are non-night vision compatible. The M3, M2s are night vision compatible. I absolutely love this sight. Got however many rounds downrange with it. Never had an issue, nor do I expect to have an issue. Battery life on this is rated for 50,000 hours. That's, again, like we discussed, that's cool. Do you need it? I particularly don't, so I don't, brag about, oh, it can go 5 years on one battery. That's cool, yes, but it's not the standalone specification that I purchased the sight for. Again, glass clarity is perfect. Maybe you guys will be able to see with this light, you'll be able to see a blue tint on the rear lens. And you watch guys will know this too, but that's the anti-reflective coating. That little blue tint, blue hue, whatever. Again, glass clarity is phenomenal. That is particularly important to me, light transmission, but not necessarily for you. This is the 4 MOA dot version. I honestly prefer that over the 2 MOA, like the M4. This particular one is a 2 MOA. This is sold as a 4 MOA. In reality, I think it's slightly smaller, like 3.5 or 3.75. Haven't actually measured, but it's not important. That's cool. M3s are phenomenal sights. ML3s, same thing. Your brightness is just, again, on this rear dial here. All the caps, the battery cap turrets are all are attached together with this little rubber containment band, I guess you could say. That's cool because I could foresee making adjustments. You're going to eventually lose these caps. Whereas on the Micro, they are not connected. Yes, they're water sealed, obviously, but as you can see, that cap just rolled away from me. Not a huge deal. Is it even worth talking about? Probably not. So anyway, there's just a brief look at the aim points I have. We already discussed extremely high quality, bet your life reliability, which is great. Extremely good battery life, which is also great. But they are expensive. This sight was right around $500 at $150 for a mount. Yes, you don't need to spend that much for a mount, but I chose to at the time. This, I think, was in the $600. These are new prices. $600 for the optic, $100 and change for the mount. Again, this is a LaRue mount. And the M4, as it sits here, I think it was $730. I mean, it's just a ludicrous amount of money, in my opinion, and sometimes I feel bad about spending that much on